Welcome to Rhythm. This video is going to talk about the most effective way to use the Rhythm software, service, and methodology to facilitate a weekly meeting so that you can avoid being blindsided by missed priorities and KPIs in a quarter and make the right decisions faster by focusing on solutions to red and yellow status items rather than just discussing status in a weekly meeting. There are three main components to the agenda of a weekly meeting using the Rhythm methodology. You basically want to talk about your company, talk about yourself, and then talk about client feedback. And you'll be using this weekly meeting tab in the Rhythm software service. And so let's start by talking about your company. When you click on the weekly meeting tab, you'll see this company KPI dashboard screen. And you'll want to focus in your weekly meeting on the specific KPI dashboards listed here in this bottom block. The methodology is very simple and easy. You basically want to celebrate super greens together as a team and then focus in on any red or yellow status items to talk about why those KPIs are red or yellow and discuss any action plans to get them to green. And so you would basically start by reviewing each one of your KPI dashboards. Our month's cash flow runway dashboard is green, so we don't need to really discuss any details behind that dashboard unless Jim, the CFO, feels compelled that he needs to discuss something about that KPI. We can move on to the next, and let's work our way through the list. You can see our next KPI, sales pipeline, which is owned by John Sales, is currently yellow. And we know what yellow means. We know that it is between $8 million and $12 million in our sales pipeline at this moment. And so let's click on sales pipeline, drill down, and have a discussion with John about why this KPI is yellow and what is the action plan to get it to green. It's basically the first step in this methodology as we review these dashboards. And so now we can see the details behind this KPI. We can see what red, yellow, green, super green criteria are. We can see the weekly status updates each week of the quarter, and we see that we're now in week 6 and that we had projected 12 million in our sales pipeline and we're running an actual of 10 million. Therefore, the status is yellow. And so at this point, John would talk to the team about why this KPI is yellow, and he's put some notes in here to indicate that it's yellow because he lost 3 large accounts out of the sales pipeline. And then as John prepares for the weekly meeting, he would discuss his action plan to green and outline any steps involved in what he thinks it's going to take to get this KPI from yellow to green. Stepwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many there are. And at this point in the weekly meeting, the team would discuss why John is yellow and what is his action plan to get to green. And this is an excellent time for team communication, for team problem solving. And so the team may have extra ideas for step 2 or different experiences for step 3. And all can weigh in and help John during this discussion on his action plan to get the sales pipeline back up to green. Once this discussion is finished, you can record any other notes or any variances to the action plan that you want to record. Then simply close the KPI detail and resume your walk through each one of the additional KPI dashboards, drilling down on any red or yellow items to discuss both why they are red and yellow and what is the action plan to get the green. You would basically continue that process each way through your KPI dashboards. So that's step 1 in talking about your company, is reviewing your KPI dashboards. Next, you want to talk about your company by reviewing your priorities energy map. And to do that, you simply move your way left to right across this weekly meeting menu to the company energy map. And what we're looking for here is team alignment to your quarterly plan. And so you want to review your company priorities and personal priorities each week in your weekly meeting so that the team is accountable to and aligned to your quarterly plan each week throughout the quarter. And so let's start by talking about our number 1 company priority, which in this case is to secure 4 $100,000 contracts. And so we click on the blue text to give us the priority detail information. We can see the red, yellow, green criteria for the priority, and we're currently in a green status on this number 1 company priority. And then we want to review each of the individual priorities dashboards that are supporting this company priority. And we can see our top personal priority is owned by John Sales, and he is currently super green on this priority. So again, you want to celebrate your super greens together as a team, celebrate your victories together. So give John a pat on the back for doing a great job on super green on his identified top 6 priorities and close them. And then next you want to work your way through these dashboards as well, looking for any red or yellow status items and clicking on those items so that you can have a discussion as to the details of why this priority is red and what is the action plan to get it to green. So here we can see in this example, Jill in support is to update her customer assurance and tech support presentation. And in week 6, she's telling us she's buried with customer installations and won't be able to get on this until week 8. And she's outlined an action plan to green. And so at this point of the team, you would have a discussion about Jill's action plan and work as a team to work to get this priority back to green. Other resources may be offered to help Jill get from red to green. But one important thing to note is that you're having the discussion now in week 5, week 6 of the quarter, rather than getting to the end of the quarter and being blindsided by a missed priority. So you can see early on in the quarter now, using this tool, when a priority is red or yellow, and you can discuss and take action to get that priority to green before the end of the quarter. And so once this discussion is concluded, you can also add any additional notes and close the priority detail. And again, continue to work your way through the priorities dashboards, clicking on any red or yellow items to discuss why they're red or yellow and what is the action plan to get to green. You would basically repeat that process through each one of these personal dashboards. Then when complete with this company priority detail, you close the window, then move on to the second company priority, which is to launch the new product. And again, you would talk your way through each one of these dashboards, celebrating the super greens, clicking on anything that's red or yellow, discussing the notes, why it's yellow, and again, what is the action plan to get to green. And if you will do this, then you will stay aligned to your plan throughout the quarter, and you'll avoid being blindsided by any missed priorities at the end of the quarter. So that's step 1, talk about your company. Step 2, you want to talk about yourself, and to do that, you would basically use your individual accountabilities dashboard and click on this menu item. Again, working your way left to right across the menu. And now it's time for each team member to talk about yourself. And I recommend that the CEO go first so that he can talk through his Week in Sync meeting preparation notes. He would discuss his victories, priorities, stuck, and successful if, any items relating to those where he's planned his week through the week. Then you would move your way through the rest of the team. Each team member discussing their Week in Sync meeting preparation notes that they spent time putting together before the weekly meeting. Celebrating any victories together, outlining what my priorities for the week are, anything I'm stuck on, and what will mean success for my week. And following this format will be a great way to facilitate team communication. It helps those who don't like to talk a lot to actually take some time to talk through with the team their plan for the week, their victories from the prior week. And it helps those who like to talk a little bit too much to stick to the outline of the meeting and not take up the lion's share of the time in the meeting. And so that is step 2 in the weekly meeting. You'll talk about yourself. Then you'll want to review your all actions lists. This is also part of talking about yourself. You want to review any action list, who, what, when items that are due for the week and discuss which ones were completed, which ones were not completed, have some accountability time for the ones that aren't completed, and review any action list items that were added as you work through the meeting. So that's step 2, talking about yourself. Then step 3 in the weekly meeting process is to talk about clients. Talk about your clients and record your client feedback. And so we've given you this screen in Rhythm to talk about your client feedback. In this screen, you want to record any client feedback from the whole team. And so encourage each team member to come to the meeting with a specific piece of client feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do our clients love about us? What are they not liking about us? And then talk about that client feedback, record it here on this screen, and determine any discussions or decisions or comments related to that client feedback here in this area. How are we going to act on this feedback that we've received from our clients? And so you would record that here on this screen. And so those are the basic 3 elements in your weekly meeting. You talk about your company, you talk about yourself, and you talk about client feedback.